10 seconds to go.
Good evening and welcome back to the Mars Dota 2 League. This is the second game of the night. My name's Toffees, bringing you the action here. You can find me at Toffees_Dota 2. And I am joined by my partner in crime, my co-caster for the evening, Winter. How are you doing tonight?
What's up?
Now,
I'm truly excited about this game.
it should be good. That last game, if you guys missed it, it is definitely a game that is worth going back to watch, simply because watching Secret execute their sort of, how do you describe it, three-front push strat was beautiful at times, risky at others, but seemed to work out very, very well for them. And now Invictus has to turn around from that game, which had to be frustrating, Winter. If you were in their shoes playing against the Secret lineup the way that they were doing it, would that put you in a tough state of mind to go straight into another game?
It's just very mentally frustrating, I have to say.
Like
It's mentally exhausting to play something like that because you know in your deep behind your mind, if the situation continues, you're gonna lose out at the end of the day. So you are like forced, like what they did in the game was trying to force to try and find pickoffs, and by forcing too much, they put themselves in a bad position and lost. So that must be mentally exhausting to do that.
So they've got to be very tired as they come into a matchup with LGD Gaming. This is the best of one, guys, going on for the game number 2. I've got 3 games with you tonight, and then I'll be turning it over to OD Pixel, who will be joining Winter for, I believe, the final 3 matches of the night. Now, the schedule got a little bit wonky. What you guys just saw was IG versus Secret. On the second stream was LGD versus CDEC, and now what you've got is LGD versus IG, Secret versus Navi is up next, and there's nothing on the second stream. The reason for that is Navi had some issues with getting their team to the land site, from what I understand, and Mars is working with them to try and make sure that everything runs smoothly and they are taken care of. So that's why it's a little bit off tonight. I'll keep you updated in case any of the game schedule changes, but as of now, after this, we'll be moving to Secret versus Navi, and like I said, I'll keep you updated as we go along. That said, this should be a good game. China versus China. We see the ban out of the Dirge and the Quap, the Wisp, and the Tusk. And last time around, we talked about whether or not Tusk was first pick material. Apparently, he's first ban material.
Yeah, I noticed in the recent, because I've been playing pubs in the Chinese server, and there are a lot of games that this hero
10 seconds.
this hero is popping up. So because they tend to copy their pro scene,
Gotcha.
the rank games.
So it seems like he is very popular in the pro side on Eastern things, so maybe that means he'll be coming to us in the Western scene very, very soon. Shadow Fiend gets picked up by LGD Gaming, a hero who seems like he's just as popular in this iteration of Dota as he was in the last.
He's a very flexible hero. He can be used in 5-man lineups and speed pushing, or he's like overall a hero that's good in all the phases of the game.
Wow. So Drow Ranger and Viper picked up 1-2 very quickly by Invictus Gaming. Interesting pickups here. What do you think about those? And the Phantom Lancer we were talking about between games also grabbed up. So talk to me about what we've seen so far.
It's really interesting. Like LGD open up with Shadow Fiend. So IG sees the Shadow Fiend, they immediately respond with one of Shadow Fiend's weakness, like Viper, and plus Draw. Like Shadow Fiend is very susceptible to early lane pressure, like the first few levels. We talked about the last game, like before he reaches level 5, he's really weak in the lane. So Viper is one of those heroes, plus the Draw can take a lot of advantage when the Shadow Fiend is really weak for the first 4 levels, especially.
So basically, Invictus is going to be looking to win that mid lane up against the Shadow Fiend, I guess, if that's where the matchup tends to go.
Yeah, and LGD is going to look to, I guess, have the off lane. Since they have PL and Shadow Fiend, 2 cores that take up so much space, their off laner has to be something that doesn't take space or gives the 2 space. So Clockwork comes to my mind, or something that can stack or doesn't farm jungle. This is really important. You don't want to share the jungle because Shadow Fiend in this game will be under a lot of pressure. So you don't want another core that utilizes the jungle. That's really important for the Shadow Fiend.
Alright, so now as you look at the initial cores that are picked up by the 2 teams, what do you think we're going to start to see come out next? We saw the Broodmother banned out. Rubik is immediately taken off the board.
Broodmother is really good against PL especially, and it's also good against Drow. So I guess IG will be okay. We don't want to play against Brood either. Drow lineups are you always ban out the Brood when you have a Drow sort of lineup.
Alright, so yeah, you don't want to have to deal with that. It makes perfect sense. That buff just too strong. And I'm trying to think. So is Invictus they don't look like they're going for a push. They're just going to go for a brute force, do you think?
Radiance.
I think they're gonna go for, like, Drow is always like about timing push. He has decent late game but not very strong, but he peaks way earlier than all the other cores because he can take Roche easily and he pushes tower with the superior damage he has from his ultimate. So with a Drow lineup, I would say it's more like a timing push. But when you look at what LGD has, even though we talk about having Phantom Lancer, a core that takes up a lot of space, but remember during the break we were discussing about PL being a core that is actually feasible in fighting early as well if needed. So he's not like a core that AFK farms until a certain, like anti-mage or something like that. That farms a lot until they are ready to fight when the fun is over. So PL is ready to fight early if needed. And yeah, IG is gonna go for Lash Draw. It's just a typical draw lineup with a core that pushes fairly well, or a support. In this case, yeah.
There's your Clockwork and Lestrak. It makes you wonder if we're going to see any games in this tournament that don't have a Lesh on the team, because I think I'm batting 100 for seeing Lestrak picked up. I think you saw one game without him, but he seems like a really important part of a lot of these lineups.
Yeah, he's very, very important because he, like you mentioned in the first game, he's flexible and he doesn't give away what you're trying to do. So it's a huge bonus in this patch by picking heroes that don't generally show off your strategy.
Now it feels to me like LGD could stand to get a little bit of a little more stun on their side, a bit of lockdown to deal with Invictus Gaming, something like an Earthshaker maybe picked up here.
They need like D-push basically, supports that can D-push. And if you look at what IG banned out in their second phase, so they understand that the first two heroes of LGD are going to take time to come online. So you're going to be pushing aggressively, so you don't want to give them supports to be able to buy time. So Rubik and Lina, heroes that can D-push and speed push well. Obviously, there's still the Keeper of the Light, goes really well against a PL, could be a good pickup, but it's annoying for Keeper to go up against the Corrosive Skin. That's something annoying. But it's still going to be a possible pickup for LGD. Keeper of the Light, Illuminate plus Rocket Flare. It's a good way to defend the waves from a safe distance.
Makes sense without having to go in too close. Vengeful Spirit picked up by Invictus Gaming, so this is going to be one hell of an aura strat. And wow, you are batting 100 right now, my friend. Clockwork and Keeper of the Light, both called, both picked. What's LGD's last get going to be?
The other support, usually you pair Keeper with support that can actually disable, because what they lack now is disable and damage, because at the moment that what they have, Hookshot, Mana Leak. Hookshot is like, because it's ultimate, so you don't generally consider it a reliable disable, and Mana Leak is, Mana Leak, so they probably want something to be able to initiate, like, in this, they need like a Rubik, but there's no Rubik. Usually you have Rubik plus Kotal, something secret runs a lot. Lion plus Kotal, maybe, but Lion is like really weak against what IG has. I'm not sure. So
they banned out the Witch Doctor. They're not going to allow that one to go through. So I think that I'll stick with your Lion pick, because you have proven just too good to go up against. Invictus Gaming now looking for their last selection here, where we find out, is that a support Lesh or a core Lesh? Once again, we talked about how flexible he is, so it's hard to tell right up until the last moment where they want to play him.
They might want to consider go tri-lane though, with like maybe a Venge Lesh support plus the Drow, and leave Viper against Shadowfiend as something that can win the lane against Call. I'm not sure, but that could be something that IG wants to do. But at the same time, it's risky because you're going up against a Keeper. It doesn't mean that you're going to win the lane for sure. Kotal is really strong against tri-lanes.
Alright, so now we got a minute left for the last pick to come out here. Invictus discussing it amongst themselves, figuring out what's the best way to deal with this Keeper of the Light Phantom Lancer combo.
Feels like Windrunner could be a Wind Ranger could be a good choice. Oh, Abaddon. So they want Abaddon plus Viper is also a really strong combination, because you keep the Viper sustained along the fights, and it's really potent if you want to go for some early timing pushes. So the lanes might actually be interesting. So possibly a off-lane Abaddon if they don't want to contest, and Leshra as a support, or they want to do Abaddon support. I'm not sure though, because they can do both ways. They can either do Abaddon off-lane or Leshra support.
10 seconds to go.
They do have some options, so it'll be interesting to see which way they go with it. Which of the heroes that Invictus has picked up is going to be an answer to that Phantom Lancer late game? And how are they going to stop if PL gets the farm that he's looking for?
They don't really. If you're talking about late game PL, they only have, if they're playing a core Leshra, that's like the only answer. Drow and Viper are heroes that don't have AoE damage, don't have much AoE they have literally no AoE damage. Viper's AoE damage is nothing against PL, the corrosive skin, so they have nothing against PL late game except if they get farm on the Lash Rock. So it'll be really interesting to see if they want to put the Lash on a core position or a support position. A support position would allow them to be more aggressive since it's a Venge plus Lash. It's obviously much more aggressive compared to Venge plus Abaddon as their support duo.
And last pick is going to be a Skywrath Mage picked up by LGD. What do you think about that pick?
Very good with the clockwork, obviously. Hookshot into Mystic Flare. It's very good combination. And the other thing I feel, which is the stronger reasoning why they picked the Skywrath, is they are also worried about IG coming to tri lane against them, as we talk about the possibility of that. So they want a support which is really strong in the lane. So Skywrath is very good in protecting the carry, and he's very strong in the lane.
Alright, so that said, it looks like the game is going to get underway. No traditional pause to start it off, so we'll jump right into the introductions for LGD Gaming. We're going to have the PL played by Sylar. We're going to have Zhao8 playing the Keeper of the Light. De3 headed down to the bottom rune. We're going to have MMY on the Skywrath Mage. We're going to have Yao on the Clockwork. And last but certainly not least, maybe he'll be playing on the Shadow Fiend.
And on the Radiant side, we have Luo playing the Viper, which indicates something fishy going on. Abaddon played by Faith. Leshrak will be handled by Ferrari 430. Draw on Burning, and lastly we have Chuan, my Malaysian friend, on the bench. So it'll be Abaddon plus Viper, I guess, offlane, and Venge plus Draw safe lane. Leshrak middle.
Should be pretty interesting as it lays out. They're definitely going to be a core with that Ferrari. Leshrak, and you think that's the right choice to put him in the middle position?
So what they are planning to do is, because like I talked about, they have LGD has an aggressive tri-lane which is pretty strong, so they don't want to commit everything, but at the same time they do not want to give the PL free farm. So you put Viper plus Abaddon, you are making sure that there's pressure in the lane, but you don't put 3 heroes there just in case things go sour. You don't waste 3 heroes experience. So
Sylar walks uphill, walks right into Faith and Luo, who immediately starts to harass him. Sylar going to have to back off, but the rest of the crew is coming in, and they will secure the top rune. Bottom rune will go with no contest whatsoever to Ferrari as he heads back towards his mid position. So pretty even bounty spread, a little bit of harassment on Sylar, but he is already tangoed right back up to full.
Yeah, so it'll be once again the Shadow Fiend versus Lash matchup, and it's going to be pretty similar to the last game. I don't think anything special would happen. It's just going to be Lightning Storm versus Ray Spam. And if you look at the supports, so it's going to be down to the supports to get killed. So I think IG having the Venge and LGD having the Skywrath, because like any of these any rotation from both of these supports will be able to help either the Shadow Fiend kill the Lash or the Lash kill the Shadow Fiend. So I'd say it'll be down to the supports, and Abaddon would be holding an early teleport score, I think, to help out the lanes as well.
Makes sense. Alright, so if you are in the position of the supports here, when are you going to look to try to get into that middle position to get the early pick?
Shadow Fiend just bought a smoke. Okay. What? Oh no, he bought it wrongly. Okay, so you're talking about timing. So I think the perfect timings would be maybe along the lines of getting the first knight, so vision is scarce, so it's easier to gank at the 4-minute mark. Or you just gank early, like between 1 to 3 minutes, but you need to use a smoke. And it depends on the positioning of the wave, where the creep wave is. Like, for example, if you look at the middle lane now, it's very close to the tower of the Shadow Fiend, so obviously it's harder to gank the Shadow Fiend, and it will be easier for the Shadow Fiend's support to gank the Lash. So stuff like that will influence when and where you should gank.
Luo taking a shot, Illuminate to the face. Now he's got to fall backward as Sylar puts up some good harass. Nice play.
This is not an easy lane at all, like the spam from the Cortal and the Phantom Lancer.
Meanwhile, over on the bottom, Chuan taking some hits as Yao and MMY go ahead and just take their opponent's jungle. So yeah, we're not interested in a lane. We're just going to go here and cause trouble.
Yeah. Both sides not willing to give like free farm towards their carry. Like LGD is worried that the Drow gets, like the tempo of the Drow is too smooth and comfortable for him, and he's going to take Roche and push down early, so they want to pressure the Drow as well. Same goes for IG. They don't want to give the PR free farm. So both sides sort of have the similar early game plan.
Alright.
Haste rune. Is this gonna be the rune that starts things off?
And it does. Chuan headed straight back to the tower with it. Does not look like he's interested in making an engagement with it.
Oh, bottom lane.
Bottom lane, and they're making the move on Burning. Burning dropping pretty low, caught inside the cogs. Tower range for Yao, but not going to matter. Burning will be the first blood. Yao drops pretty low. Chuan's got that haste rune, but can't engage into it.
That was really, really good awareness, right? They know the Venge when towards the rune to get the rune. So for that like 10-second window opportunity, they have 2v1 situation. So they just dive onto the Drow and manage to get the kill, even without any points in battery assault.
So they get, a very beautiful kill. And this is how IG started off the last game with some really great early plays. It didn't pan out for them, but that said, they also did not have... actually, I'm sorry, this is how LGD started or IG started it. They're losing the beginning. It's late. I apologize. I got totally sidetracked there. It has been a long day, but I'm excited to be here with you guys. All right, gold is in LGD's corner, not by much. 1,000 at this stage of the game, I guess, does make a little bit of a difference, but IG with a strong lineup and going to be able to get right back into this, presumably based on how they played their last match.
And looking at the jungle, I talk about like stacks. So far, because of the lane positioning, like the PS under pressure, so the Kotal isn't able to leave the lane to go for stacks, and same for the Skyraf because they are both busy in their lane. So I don't think there'll be much stacks for the Shadow in this game. So he needs to be able to do fairly well in the lanes, otherwise it will not be so easy for him to come back. Because usually we see Shadowfiend having a lot of stacks, and even though he didn't do well in the lane, but he's able to just come back into the game because of the stacks.
Ooh, gets the shield from Abaddon, wants to go in deep, chases Sylar underneath the tower, and now he's taking a lot of damage. Tyler turns back around, healed up pretty well. Luo dodges the Illuminate though, and does manage to get away. 9 wand charges. Just
very aggressive play from them because he knows that he has a Abaddon backing him up, so he's able to play and push his hero to the limit.
And he is doing so. Sylar, also out of region, has been having a tough time staying in lane up against this Viper, who has been playing very, very aggressive. Over in the mid position, let's check in with that. Shadowfiend is at 14-2. We have the Leshrac sitting at 17-7, so he's doing pretty well. But like we said last time around, Shadowfiend just hit level 5, and we should see him start to take a much better position in this lane.
Yeah, definitely. Level 5 is always a point where the Shadowfiend starts to assert his dominance in the lane. And looking at the other lanes, Drow is at 15 and PL is at 16, so we can see the effect of the lane pressure coming into the safe laners. Usually you see the carries having much more last hits than this. Here we go again, bottom lane. They're gonna go
making the move, comes from behind, catches him inside the cows. Burning drop below, Chuan trying to help, but Burning inside's got nowhere to go, pops out. We lose Burning. Chuan looks like he's gonna go down. It's gonna be the double. What a play by LGD. Starts this off 3-0.
Yeah, that was like a really good positioning from the support, MMY Skyraf. He was hiding behind the trees there, waiting for the appropriate moment. And the Venge was actually trying to scout out the Skyraf, so he was like running around, but he couldn't find the Skyraf. So they were caught in a very bad position because Drow didn't understand the positioning of the Skyraf, and Clockwork just ran up and just got him in the cogs and he was dead.
Sylar taking some damage, goes ahead and easy escape, doing a great job with that Doppelganger to stay ahead of Luo. So basically what we've got on the top is Luo and Faith trying to put harass on the PL, and they're doing an okay job of it, but on the bottom, they're not just getting harassed, they're getting pickoffs on Burning, and that's really, I think, putting them behind LGD right now.
Yeah, so at this point you just saw, like, Faith just got a teleport scroll after boot, so he's gonna be ready to back up the other lanes from now on, but provided they fight near the tower.
Alright, so let's take a look at the rotation down towards the bottom. MMY's got the backup of maybe as they start to rotate.
Oh, he's level 6.
Oh, he caught it. Goes out the hook shot, catches Chuan. Chuan's got nowhere to go, and that'll make it 4.
This is just the supports, and the Skyraf and Clockwork playing really well, dictating the pace of the game, even though the other lanes are under pressure. So now LGD is in I would say, a very comfortable lead just because of how the lanes pan out for them.
Absolutely.
Totally did not expect that because usually against a Drow lineup, you would have tough lanes because of the aura.
Shadowfiend up to 6. MMY comes over, puts up a nice ward behind the middle, starting to maybe allow maybe to put some pressure on the tower. Sneaky ward. So back they go. Ferrari sitting at level 7. Meanwhile, up on the top lane, Zhao 8 under some attack by Faith. A little bit of harass here. Just eats his way through the trees and gets to safety. So right now Drow is sitting at level 6 up against this Clockwork, who is even on levels, has support of MMY. Is she in a pretty tough position? Like, what is she to do?
She is, because 3 points in battery assault. It's just, she's gonna die every time if he gets hooked outside of tower range and the Abaddon can't TP. But now they're gonna try and go in, but Abaddon can teleport in to help out. But the silence is gonna just make sure that the Clockwork can't initiate. Yeah, but one thing about the Gust, so every time the Clockwork hooks in, you can actually push the Clockwork out of his own cog, so that will actually buy you some time. So Clockwork's gonna move towards the middle lane to try and get a kill on Ferrari because he knows that the Drow Ranger is actually playing really safe now after what happened the last time. So he probably not gonna get a kill in this lane, so he tries to get a kill in the other lane, courtesy of the observer ward placed by MMY before this. So there's gonna be really good vision for him to land a hook.
Alright, so we are getting a little bit of some ping issues, but it seems like it's balancing out, so we'll just stay in.
Here we go.
Oh, in the middle, they make the engagement. Ferrari gets caught. Yao is taking names, man, as he makes a move in, catches that Leshrac.
That's really good team play with the observer ward placement. He knows the Leshrac is still up in the lane, and he was just able to position himself at a spot where he just needed to wait for the Lash to come towards the 8-minute rune and get the kill. Just really good play overall.
Right now, that does put the Skywrath Mage at 3-0 and the Clockwork at 2-0, as they have been putting in work down here on this bottom lane.
Casual regen so that he can go at it again.
Grabs the regen. 49-3 for the Shadow Fiend in the mid position. Leshrac 37-12. Viper 41-11, getting some pretty good farm there up on the top lane. And Drow not really boxed out, so she's her CS is okay, but the deaths are going to be hurting her.
Yeah, the deaths are hurting her, and now we see the Leshrac rotating down, trying to help the lane. If they get a stun,
wants to go. The orb's working on MMY. MMY jumps into the trees, almost gets him. He's going to go for the TP. Can they find him? They do.
That's close. That was close, but at top lane, meanwhile, Lure managed to kill the Director with a Viper Strike. So that's going to help him immensely with the level and item progression that he's going to have.
So IG gets a nice double across the map at the same time, basically, and two much-needed kills for them.
That was very important for them to help out the Drow. The Drow was having such a hard time.
Absolutely. All right, so gold after that is 2,000 in the way of LGD, 1,000 XP, and as we hit the 10-minute mark, LGD a little more in control, but do you think it's overwhelming at this point?
I wouldn't say that because IG can still hit their timings to push the towers if they actually manage to get. I would say they need the items they need, which are important, are maybe a BKB. BKBs would be important on the Leshrac because this game there's so much stuff that can kill him. If the Clockwork decides to go for a Blade Mail, that would be really good against a hero like Leshrac.
Alright, so the Clockwork did just miss the hook shot. Would have been a really nice play for him on the bottom lane, as he did have his support.
Did he buy something? Oh, he's going into a Vanguard actually.
The Clockwork?
Yeah, he bought a Vitality Booster. So because of the start that he has, he decides that he wants to go for the item that will help him a lot in the early fights, which is like the best choice. There is a Vanguard against IG's lineup because IG's lineup is a lot of physical damage. A lot of physical damage.
Now it smells it out. Look at Clockwork falling back. Yao knows something's up, and there's four heroes on the Radiant's jungle.
Thanks to the deep wards, even though they were smoked because the wards didn't spot any heroes in the lanes and jungle, so you know something's up. Just look at the 3 wards. They literally see the jungle and the middle lane.
Yeah, so they have great vision of the map. We'll actually open up the vision chart so you can take a quick look at that. This is what Radiant sees versus what Dire sees, and they have just a great overall perception of what's happening down on that bottom lane. And saved a life, man.
And the next important thing for IG is the 200 gold, the 100 gold shot from Lore, from the mecha. So that's going to be a timing that they're going to want to have to at least, I think, take some, at least 1 or 2 tier 1 towers that would be really important for them to take. And looking at Leshrac, still just the only 1 point in the edict, but still going to allow them to help take the towers in a fair amount of time with the mech coming from the Viper. It's fairly soon.
Bernie getting himself back into this. Level 8 right now. Let's look at the net worth stack chart. Shadow Fiend out in front. Not a big surprise. A hero like Shadow Fiend does so good at just sort of getting out and staying ahead. Viper at 44 and Leshrac at 42.
Here we go, Toffees. The smoke, Mystic Flare plus hook shot is going to come into play now.
Here comes Yao looking for something. Gets the hook shot. In he goes. Catches Burning. Mystic Flare. Boom. Burning drops low. He's still alive when they finish the job. It will. So down he goes, and Yao and MMY walk out with swagger on their face. As again,
there we saw the Gus pushing him out and almost saving his life with the shield, removing the silence from the Skyrim. But it wasn't enough because there was still enough damage to kill him off.
So not a great start. Let's take a look at the KD right now, just to put us in perspective.
Top
Burning 0-3. Meanwhile, up on top, good call. It looks like Luo on the run. Ulti from the Shadow Fiend. That'll be enough to get Silo in range for the
Did
pick.
he manage to get the mech recipe before he died? I think he did.
Ferrari, though, in no man's land, and he's got the backup from Faye, so they want to go after maybe. Maybe he's got to fall back here. And they can't fight into it. It looks like LGD just fade away.
Yeah, and at least he got the mech recipe before that, so he didn't lose too much gold. That was important.
So mech is also picked up. Shadow Fiend up and running. The Vanguard has been finished by Yao, so that is going to be a 13-minute Vanguard. And do you stand by? That's the correct build to go when your Clockwork gets a good start.
Some players think Blade Mail, like Bone 7 or the Western Clockwork players, they like the Blade Mail more because it's more offensive. And Vanguard is like, it makes sure you don't die early on because you have a lot of survivability, and because you don't die, you get more items later on. But Blade Mail is just more offensive, and one is more defensive.
And now, speaking of offensive, Luo comes in. They start the orbs all over the place. Burning's going to get hit with the flare, and Yao goes down.
That Vanguard almost paid off if he actually didn't die there.
That said, Burning and Yao come in, Luo come in and get a really important kill. And we'll now start to push up on the tower just a little bit. The rest of their team comes in to join them, and this should be the death of the bottom tower unless we see a big response from LGD. Faith gets hit, ulti's popped, he doesn't care, he'll keep soaking the
This
tower.
tower should be gone. Yeah, this is gone.
And there it is, so tower does go down. That'll be the tier 1. Meanwhile, up on top though, tier 1 being pushed by Sylar as he starts to put some serious damage on it. He's got the creeps to stick around, and the glyph is down. So this will be a tier 1 for a tier 1. TP comes in, is cancelled.
Yeah, it's not going to be able to save the tower. So this is looking very, very favorable for LGD after the early laning phase against a draw lineup, which is impressive, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely doing a great job. I'm not going to lie, I am finding it very difficult with this TP animation from the compendium to quickly figure out who's TPing in. It's incredibly frustrating. Alright, so jungle farm time for Burning as he goes in there with a little bit of help from his buddy Chuan. Protection in place. Zhao 8 on lane, but big rotation. Smoke coming out from Yao and MMY is the combo.
Same story. The same story.
Thing. Big hook shot. Catches Burning. Mystic Flare. Good swap. Chuan will give his life for his friend, and Burning will escape.
Same story, but different ending because the bench is 6 now.
Same story, different ending. It's like the Hunger Games up in here.
Yeah, that was really important to save Burning. I mean, if he dies there again, it feels like the game is like half lost if he died there again.
Definitely. So 3 and 9 gold lead at 4,000 for LGD. XP at about 4.5. Push is on for the bottom tower, but they would not mind getting a hook on Luo, and he is going to fall back. Not interested in sticking around and risking it, and they will assault the bottom tower. Meanwhile, mid tower under attack by Ferrari on the Lestrak. How's his farm coming with where it needs to be?
I think it's still okay for the situation he's in. They're gonna try.
Actually, we'll go back to the bottom where Luo re-engaged. Out comes the ulti from Maybe. Faith has his ultimate popped. He's gonna start to heal up immediately. Luo dropping low, caught inside the cogs, hit with the Mystic Flare, dropping down. Can they finish the job? Nice juke through the trees, but the last parting shot, will it be enough? It will not. No, but it will if Yao comes in. Hits with the hook shot. Beautiful play. Goes to the TP right away. No stun coming, and he'll get to safety. Meanwhile, look at Sylar. Boom. Top tower drops.
That was really huge. Sylar got a tier 2 at top, and they killed the Viper at bottom. And LGD is just all over the place right now.
All over the place in a good way. Like, they're everywhere that IG does not want them to be.
They defended the middle. It was important that they defended the middle tier 1 as well. Kotal, Xiao 8 actually went towards middle during the midst of everything, and he secured his team the defense of the tier 1 and middle with 1 hero, where IG was pushing with 2 heroes. That's why they couldn't react in time, because LGD were using their resources much better. 1 hero to defend middle. IG was pushing with 2, and they used the rest of the heroes to actually take the tier 1 at bottom and get the kill on the Viper at bottom as well.
So towers dropping incredibly fast for LGD, doing a great job of it. Gold lead jumps up to almost 7,500 for LGD at this point in the game. XP at about the same. That seems like a pretty decent gold lead at 17 minutes into this match.
And that is, yeah, it's immense at 17 minutes against Like usually Drow lineups, if you falter in the early game, it's very hard to come back after because Drow is a hero. Again, a momentum based hero, and he revolves around taking Rosh early and grouping and pushing early, but in the case he is right now, he's just unable to do any of that.
It looks like Zoid has started to build that Ag Scepter. He's got his first piece up and running, the mech on the Shadow Fiend. We have that Diffusal Blade finished up on the PL.
Wow, he is so farm after the start that he had.
Such a good start. I mean, Diffusal by 17
yeah, he was
30
having a hard time farming the lane as well against the Viper.
But he's looking good now. 1,200 in the bank, so he's going to keep pushing out at this point. But right now, he's not even ratting. He's just farming the lane uncontested. Nobody's come to stop him.
Doing carry things, I would say.
Doing carry things. Hashtag carry things.
Yeah, it's just thanks to his teammates. I would say MVP towards the clock and the Skyrock making so much space for him to farm.
Absolutely. Now we do see a smoke rotation. Chuan Faith leading it in with Luo on the back end as they look to get a pick off here. They are going to see MMY in the water.
The least valuable pick off they can get.
Yeah, so they do get one, and if you're going to lose to a smoke rotation, that's the one to lose for LGD. Meanwhile, still uncontested, Sylar pushes up that top lane and then immediately head towards bottom, and he'll start leading on this tower.
And they're going to defend middle with the Kotter. This is
brutal.
You remember what happened the last game?
Yeah.
When this happens.
Oh my goodness. So this, you think this is going to be Sylar picking up the Boots of Travel pretty quick to just reiterate what we saw last time around?
Boots of Travel maybe later, not so quick. He's just going to rely on the Kotter to move him around in the map because usually PL you want to get your Manta plus Diffuser ASAP and maybe build into a heart later on.
Look at Yao. Yao's out here by himself. He's got the Invis rune, just looking to get a kill.
He's so strong right now, like for a clockwork at 90 minutes.
Uh-oh, he's going to find himself some Chuan. Chuan's going to walk into it. He decides not to take it, or does he? Waits for him to pass by, says, I'll see where you're going. And he waits. He walks into the Illuminate, basically. Nice swap. Puts Faith into the target and gets away.
He had enough time. He thought he had enough time to just battery plus power cock, so he didn't want to use his ultimate, basically. But it wasn't, it cost them the kill. I think he would have gotten the kill immediately if he just opened with the battery plus hook shot immediately with the Illuminate hitting on the bench. But it's not a big deal at the end of the day. So it's just a support kill, even if they get it. They're in a position where they're so far ahead that that kill would actually matter nothing.
Yeah, so basically they're down there, they're making space. Meanwhile, Sylar goes up and takes care of the Ancients, finishes up his Yasha. That's on the courier right now.
I actually think from this, if LGD were able to secure the first Roshan, they would have probably almost won the game. If they are able to make enough space and time for them. Because they don't exactly have a lot of minus armor this game compared to the last game where the IG team had the last game, Bristleback plus Shadow Fiend. This game is just a Shadow Fiend minus armor. And they don't really have heroes that can build medallions usefully because Kotter wants to build his axe and Skyrock this game. Maybe he can build it after, but yeah, it's not an ideal item on a hero like Skyrock. But if the important thing is if they get the Roshan, it's going to be almost the game won for LGD.
So right now, maybe going into the jungle, farming up, excuse me, has that Blink Dagger and that mech, and 2,500 in the bank. So what's the next thing he's going to go ahead and grab here?
It's a lot of options though. I think you can actually get BKB is like okay, so, but it doesn't help you against Drow. But so he'll more likely I think get armor items, stat plus armor. So Skadi comes to mind, SNY Skadi or Manta. Manta you can disjoin like the Magic Missile or the Silence from the Drow and the Viper Strike. So Manta could be a valuable pickup here.
Absolutely. Now we do see that there is no vision for the Radiant on the Roche pit right now, and you said that Roche could mean the win for them, and they're going to do it. They're in there, they're in deep, they are almost done with Roche, and we still have not seen a response.
It's taking a while, but because they're so far ahead.
Chuan now sees them in there, he's calling for the Cavalry, but all he's going to see is Roche is low, and they can't really respond in time. Faith now responding, Luo going to join in, but not going to get there. Down goes Roche, Shadow Fiend picks up the Aegis, and
this is really bad for IG.
Chuan in a bad spot, gets hit immediately by maybe, in comes the hook shot, down goes the Vengeful Spirit. Nice play by LGD as they continue to run away with this match.
This Clockwork has been, Yao has been playing really well in tandem with the Skyrock Mage. They're both really working together as a team.
They're doing very, very well. Those hook shots have been absolutely phenomenal. The gold lead, by the way, still sitting at that 7,500 mark. Will jump up significantly after this. The PL going to go straight for Harass, and down will go the bottom tower. Glyph used here, so that Glyph will be down for the next time they decide to make a push.
They're going to defend the middle tier 1.
Wow.
And he might actually go down here.
So the Glyph bought a little bit of time, but not enough for
Missed it.
Ferrari to take mid. Ends the jump. Ferrari on the run. Chased from all sides. PL too strong. Down goes the Leshrek, and I don't know, man. I'm starting to hear the death bells ring.
This is looking really, really bad for them. He built into a 4-star first against the Clockwork, and he's still a long ways away from his BKB. That's really important for the Leshrek this game. He needs the whole recipe. It's just, which means that he's gonna take another, I think, 5 minutes to get it. I would say if maybe 3 to 4 around there, depending on what happens the next few minutes. But another hook shot there.
Hook shot. Oh, catches 2. Big Mystic Flare. Gonna reap 1. Follows on Faith. Reaps 2. Pushes the high ground. And the GG comes out 23 minutes. LGD makes IG. I don't know. Just that was rough, man.
Just, like I said, the draw line. If you have a draw lineup, you don't get the first Roshan. It's like you're sweating your head out. You know, you have a draw lineup and the opponent gets the first Roshan, and you're in such a bad position in the game just because of that alone. That's why I said it was so important for them to get the first Aegis, even though they were behind, but they couldn't, and they gave it away to LGD. But it was also because the position they were in, they can't really, they can't really contest, so it was difficult.
Do you think that the defeat that they took at the hands of Secret came into play at all during that game? I mean, IG seemed off their pace. They did not seem to be in this.
It's definitely possible as well, because it was, like I mentioned, it was a very mentally exhausting game. The game against Secret, it takes a toll on you when you play a game like that. And everyone, the next game, everyone will be like probably off or just affected by the game before. And this game, you see Kotl again,
right.
So you're like,
you're staring down the barrel of the same gun, basically.
It's going to happen again, so it's a lot of mental pressure and stuff like that. And you have a sort of a similar, like I would say, a draw lineup is very similar to an Undying type of lineup, because basically you have the same plan. You want to group and push, otherwise the hero doesn't do his job well. So they were in the same position. So it was hard to say whether it affected on them or not, but it definitely is possible.
Alright guys, so that is it for this game. We've got one more coming up with me, and then we'll be switching over to OD Pixel after that. The next game is going to be Secret versus Na'Vi, and that is going to be at, let's see, 13:55 Eastern, so in about 55 minutes is the scheduled start time. So I'll play some music, take a break, and come back to see Secret versus Na'Vi. My name's Toffees. You can follow me at Toffees_Dota2. I'm joined here by Winter. You can find him at Winter Dota. It's been a great 2 matches. We've got more to come, and I think they're going to be just as good. So stick around, listen to the music. I'll be hanging out in chat, and if you want to give me feedback on the cast, I am always more than willing to listen. But for now, Toffees out.